CJ Stroud, that name ring a bell? Probably not. Unless you watch football, you're probably not going to know that name. He's a quarterback. But I bet you if I mentioned the name Taylor Swift, you'll heard that one before. And not only heard it, you know more about her than you ever will about CJ Stroud. Part of it I get, not everybody's into sports, and it's popularized, but it's not blasted everywhere, especially someone not in the stratosphere of Tom Brady. But what you do know about Taylor Swift, or at least you should know, is who her daddy is. And I don't mean her physical daddy. I mean the person that is actually putting her to work. That being Satan, of course. But CJ Stroud stepped before the camera one time after a game and said some pretty interesting things that when you go back and try to find it, however, was nixed. He's thanked God for the victory that he had. He thanked God for all that he had. And for some reason, the media just got rid of that. Skipped it over, deleted it, ethered it. But when Taylor Swift's on camera and someone says, I thank God you show her doing, don't be doing that.
And of course, God. Without God, none of this would be possible.
And then you show her throwing up demonic signs. And then you show her doing all kinds of demonic dances. And you popularize her all over the place. Remember, she's not psyop. And you do all these things to make sure that everybody knows about Taylor Swift. Many of these NFL players that you see, a lot of them will go along with the agenda. But the rare few that mention God, you will never see in the limelight. Why? Because they don't want you knowing that. They need to keep you understanding one thing. The author of all of this is not God, which is true. It is the devil. They cannot have his name in this. They cannot have you having a different viewpoint about what's going on. The biggest issue we'll find is people like CJ Stroud will be silenced. Not on the field, not in the locker room, but anytime he steps in front of a camera. But he's not alone. In the MMA, they do it. Basketball, they do it. They'll popularize all these other people. LeBron. Every time before a game, what do they show him doing? Ritualistic puffing of this powder. They do it all over the place. They show a bunch of demonic things during the halftime shows, and nobody really bats an eye because it's become part of what? Entertainment. Today, we have become a culture of consumption, and I don't just mean in buying stuff that's materialistic, TVs and music and a house and a car and clothes and hats and shoes. Now, I'm not talking about that kind of consumerism. I'm talking about consuming whatever they put in front of these and whatever they put into these. We just suck it in. No filter, no discretion. We just take it in. Whatever they hand, we take. We don't even go looking to see if someone said something the right way. It is whatever they tell us to believe. We should believe it. This is a prime example of how they're going to end up curtailing many to follow what they have going on. How? Well, here's what you'll do. I will put before you, the Bible says this, God says that. And then they will see, but hey, hold on now. Maybe what it actually meant was we are able to do this and do that. And we'll put it in front of you. Either by CGI, AI, or just plain old making it look like it's happening right before you. And then they'll tell you, see, but we could do that. That's nothing to do with God. That's all us. Is it too far of a stretch, you think, maybe because all they did was cut out the fact that he thanked God? How many other things have they cut out from your vision? How many other things that they have put in front of you to think that is all there is? You can go and look at any commercial right now, any of them, and you tell me if you see any of those places where they don't have a scantily clad woman, or a half-dressed man, or anything to do with the idolization and sexualization of a person, or anything to do with the popularization of a certain type of song that gets into your mind. All of it is built on dragging your attention away from what's the most important, God. Because they are planning to replace in your own life. Now, mind you, they can't actually replace him. But in the minds and in the thoughts of many, they can. Because they can put forth something that the flesh wants, the mind wants, and nothing to do with what the soul needs. And they're becoming quite proficient at it. Everything is built on it. CJ Stroud might have been one of the few, but he's not the only one, and he will not be the last. People like Taylor Swift will get most of the limelight. All these actors will get limelight. The musicians will get limelight. Rap music, this music, that video. They will never want you to be ceased in front of them. They need your eyes focused. What's your next solution? We've mentioned this before. In your possession, you have something called a remote. Some people use either their phone or they'll actually have a hard and fast remote. Back in the day, we used children. Remember that? You just send them and turn up the TV. Shut it off. Shut it off. Many of us won't. I can admit that because we love the entertainment. We love the distraction. You remember when you were small, when mom would tell you to go read, you have the hardest time trying to read a book. But you could play outside all day long. Run, 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 run. Then she tell you to read a book and you're like, 2 lines and you're out cold. It was the best remedy for being ADHD. You want to go read. All of a sudden you can calm down and you fall asleep. This is exactly what they do to you. They hype you up on the drug that they call an infectious disease in your mind, entertainment. And once you're there, you no longer have time for peace. In fact, you replace peace with entertainment. That's the goal. The question then remains is, are you going to allow that to be your lot? Because the only person that can stop this at this point is you, because you're the consumer. You stop consuming, they can put out as much as they want. They'll get no traction, and eventually they have to stop. But as long as you give in, you've given them all kinds of platforms. Here's my advice. Choose wisely what you put before you and into you. Because if you don't, it is not what goes into a man that defiles him. It's what's come out.